I'll be discussing the evolution of the media over the past 100 years or so. So, over the past century, radio was the first major form of entertainment to rise to prominence. It was widely used by the 1920s and 1930s, and about 60% of American households had a radio by the 1930s. Though it was the first form of entertainment and media that was widely used, its popularity has decreased in recent years due to the increase in popularity of the internet. The internet, of course, is one of our greatest tools to connect to the outside world, get entertainment, information, and generally consume media. It was widely used by 1989 and has only grown ever since. Smartphones are another form of media that we all consume pretty much every day, and the first one was actually introduced in 1992, over 15 years before Apple released its first iPhone. It was produced by IBM, and although the term smartphone wasn't used until 1995, it was introduced in 1992. And today, about half of all cell phone/telephone users have a smartphone. So television is one of the most interesting ways we can see the growth of entertainment and media throughout the years. It was originally introduced as a luxury commodity in 1929 because it cost about half of the average annual salary in America. As the economy changed, price drops made it increasingly more affordable for average families, and about 100,000 television sets were being sold a week in 1949. By 1989, about 60% of American households had cable, which signaled a huge boost in media consumption in America. And when cable first got started in the early 1900s, there were about 128 channels run by 4 major networks, and today there are over 1,000 stations. Of course, the popularization of streaming services such as Netflix and Hulu in the 2010s completely revolutionized the way we consume television, and it's evolved far past the luxury commodity it once was. Other forms of media include film. The first talkie, which was the first non-silent film with synchronized sound, was The Jazz Singer in 1927. Since then, of course, film as an industry has evolved a lot, and over 700 films are released per year. The next form of media is the news, which I'm sure we all consume a lot of these days, and the first 24-hour news broadcast was actually introduced in 1980 by CNN. Telephones as a whole were invented in 1849 but patented by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876, and today there are over 5 billion telephone users, with of course half of those being smartphones. The last form of media we'll talk about is computers or personal laptops, and the first personal IBM computer was introduced in 1981 and has only evolved since then and is now owned by 74% of Americans. I'm sure we all use those every day in a pandemic. Well, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all learned something today.